Hey, Kristen and
Gwen.
are here for our 11th episode of Apple and Oak.
Yeah.
And today we're gonna chat about a local hot spring that's been under some scrutiny and changes lately. And
Basically about people trying to get control when it's not justified.
yeah, that pretty much covers the whole
I would say
episode
so.
today.
That's our episode today.
I like that choice of words. So that picture you sent me, that's Hobo Hot Springs. So basically they're just gonna get rid of absolutely everything. So okay. So what went down was this was just like a little hole in a pipe hot spring
Because it burst.
Who knows how many years ago.
And it just created its own little life and made a hot spring.
And then somebody came in and he did it really nicely. He did all these rocks. He moved the rocks to like make pools.
Yeah. I met him that day.
Of varying degrees.
I met the guy that made it. The rumor was that he was homeless, but when I met him, he did not look homeless.
And then something happened and all of a sudden this hot spring was destroyed.
So they're worried about insurance purposes because what happens if it got like to 120 degree temperature and somebody got burnt? They were worried about lawsuits with the hotel because the hotel owns most of the pipes. Probably not every single pipe, but most of the pipes are actually owned from many years ago, the owner of the Harrison Hot Springs Resort Hotel. So they all of a sudden got worried because it was getting popular and talked about. So all of a sudden one day they said, oh, we're going to just tear this down. We're going to bulldoze it. They didn't give any notice. They just went and did that. Huge uproar with all the people in the residential area around there. And all over social media, like just an outroar. And because technically they didn't have any right to go in there. They had no permit to go in there and do that either.
No, they just did it. Asked for forgiveness.
Technically they should have just done it. Like they should have got a permit technically, but they just did it without any permit. And then now that's where we're at, is where there's a huge legal kerfuffle. And it's been ongoing for months and months. And that's when I found out today that, it's going to be restored. Did I say that?
Well, sort of restored. It's not going to be like the original just because they are fixing that pipe. So it's probably going to dry up now or what?
I don't know.
Because if there's no water source, they said the water source was from a damaged pipe.
It's not going to be hard to filter it through that. That holding tank is right beside there.
Yeah.
They can filter it over for sure.
There was a few things wrong with that place. It wasn't making them money.
Exactly.
Because if they didn't care, like they could just put a sign up there that says use at your own risk.
That would totally exactly stop the insurance liability. Just like, they always have those signs up everywhere.
Yeah. I suspect that it was more of a hotel intervention because they didn't want people going there. They want people to pay to use theirs.
Exactly. So by order of the BC Water, Land and Resource Stewardship, the waters will be restored to the original state as depicted in the photo. They have this big photo that's been posted of the original site. And the water source will be repaired. So I'm excited about this for the summer. It's probably going to be done by the summer.
It's just going to be the hole in the ground that it was, though.
They might make it bigger. There's a big area with the logs there. Remember, it goes onto the kind of swampy area on the far kind of south part of it.
We will see.
It could be much bigger if they do it properly.
We will see. Still, fact of the matter is they don't want people swimming in it.
And you can't dig, which I understand because that destroys the natural part of this hot spring.
Yeah, I would think it's something they kind of want to keep hush-hush because the more hush they can keep things, the less kickback they have to deal with.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But now it's going to be such a hot spot, though, because it's going to be all over the news again. And now it's going to be, we go there, and we're not going to be the only ones in the hot spring. It sounds selfish to say that, but we've gone there and had a blast the whole night to ourselves there. No one else around. So now I feel like it's going to be like this spot where everybody goes now because it's been so publicized and everywhere on social media, on the news. But then that's the selfish part of me thinking, oh gosh, we won't have it to ourselves, right?
Yeah. That's the way of everything, it seems. You got to be careful who you share the good spots with.
That's very
but
true.
But then they have to be careful who they share the good spots
there's
with.
so many inevitable things. Like, you find something good out there, it's going to be, someone else is going to find out about it too. That's just how it is. It's overpopulated. Social media is good and bad for that.
Yeah. So something I wanted to talk to you today. So what do you know about the ostrich farms? Do you know much about it?
I've been reading about it.
Okay. So my understanding of it is so this farm is big. It's got over 400 birds.
It's in Edgewood, BC.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And they dealt with a little bit of the avian influenza. Like, I think they lost like 70 birds, but the ones that they have now are healthy. So,
yeah.
And then my understanding is now the government wants to go in on these quote unquote healthy birds and kill them all. So they made plans to to dump the birds at a dump out there.
Right, and the dump didn't want to take the birds, and that's where everything kind of changed. That's where the turning point was of this whole issue.
Well, first of all, it's such a biohazard. If you're going to kill these animals and put them in a pile to rot, like, there's going to be birds coming to eat the carrion. Like, you can't keep them.
No.
Like they would have to burn the bodies. So the dump churned them away, and on the grounds that they wanted the birds retested and they want the results made public.
That was the dump.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, because this all happened in a very short period of time, like a week, where all this
So I'd like to know who's working at the dump. They actually were probably somewhat maybe trying to save the birds by turning them away like that. Like, I wonder who actually has that authority at that dump, because they must have had a conscience enough to be like, okay, this is not how it's going to happen. Right?
Yeah. Well, and once again, biohazard.
Yeah. And just the whole way that the government was going about dealing with this. They didn't even know. It's like they didn't know the proper procedures, and they were just going with the flow, which is not how it should be done.
Yeah. So there was like a cease on it, and like a whole bunch of people showed up at the farm.
Through the court. They actually went through the courts, and that's where there was a cease on that. There was an application filed.
And then on the May long weekend,
yeah,
on the Saturday, I think it was, the government's like, no, we're still going through with this. And it's like, first of all, you know how hard it is to get the government to do anything on a freaking weekend, let alone a long weekend?
Or even a Friday.
Oh, yeah. They want it so bad. Why do they want it so bad?
Because they don't want to lose. This is what their intentions are, to do what they want to do and not lose this matter. Like, they won't back down.
Yeah. They have to.
So it's a fight. It's a fight.
Yeah. This farm is also wanting to push for the natural immunity. Obviously, the wild birds, right? They have to build natural immunity.
But it's the research they're doing with the eggs, right? That's big research. So what it is, too, there's a lot more behind the scenes. They don't like the advancement of this research that's being done on these eggs. The research is to do with potential actual antigens to fight other diseases. It's a huge step in scientific development and innovation. So with that being said, that's another reason I think that's turned the government, like, we cannot be having this type of research going on. It's quite advanced. So that was the other aspect of it they're using as well. But they're saying it's because of the avian flu that they have to be destroyed and culled.
Yeah. Stepping on toes. What's come to light now is that
How do we explain it?
Moderna was given a $590 million grant to develop an mRNA vaccine for the bird flu. This is what I have heard. Think about how much money lined the pockets of the politicians.
They're all multimillionaires now since COVID. It was all planned. They all knew they were going to profit from it.
Yeah.
And some of them even pretended they got vaccinated. I don't think they all did.
And now that COVID's kind of coming to light and wearing off, they're just like, oh, what next? And the bird flu has been going on for how many years now?
I heard it's not even real. I heard
3, 4.
I heard that birds just get sick sometimes. And it's not the bird flu. It's not like that bad. So I don't know what to think about it. I've read different thoughts on it.
That could be like the coronavirus, right? The coronavirus was
Been
like
around,
a cold.
That's what I mean.
Until all of a sudden
they're naming it. They're naming it differently and calling it something else and making it more
marketable.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, right? It's like big pharma. Such a scam. I seen a I didn't fact check it. I seen this claim, and basically what it was the rise in cesarean births over the last little bit. Cesarean births have risen 77% apparently. Yeah. So the theory of this is the placenta and all that stuff has the highest amount of stem cells.
Okay, that makes sense, because when I had my twins, I asked to look at the placenta. I was curious to see what the placenta looked like how it was formed, because it was technically...
Were they in the same one?
So identical twins. Oh gosh.
Sometimes they're in the same.
Same.
Yeah.
And I asked to look at it, and I was half out of it still. And I want to see it. No, we got rid of it. I'm like, no, I want to see it. And then Mark's like, stop it. Stop, right? I'm like, no, I want to see it. And they pretty much ignored me and would not let me look at it or nothing. It was very odd. Then they kept talking about triplets during my C-section. I'm like, and I kept asking them after, why were you talking about triplets during my C-section? They wouldn't respond to me. So I'm like, why? Something was up.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So basically, they're it's from the standpoint that they're pushing more cesareans on people because the amniotic sac is not contaminated inside the body. No. Once there's a natural birth, the amniotic sac and all that stuff, the placenta, it's all contaminated.
Yes.
And they get less money for it.
That's true.
And the hospital's the only one that can sell that stuff.
Because as soon as it hits air too, right? Is that what it is? Or is it just how it's contained? What would be the factor in that?
Well, anything that it would land on outside your body.
I guess as soon as it's contaminated, as soon as it comes out, and boom, it
comes through you, touches your skin, any other thing that comes out. So they
probably sold my placenta for like $20,000 because it was double big.
I think I seen 50,000.
50,000.
That was the number on there. Like I said, I did not fact check.
So how come in the States people are able to bring their placenta home and keep it, but how come in Canada we can't?
I wonder if you can. I feel like you have to discuss it with your doctor ahead of time.
I already asked.
Oh, because some people do the capsules.
I know. They pretty much ignored me the whole time. And I just didn't get anywhere. Like, I felt like there's just no way. And, of course, even after, they just ignored me.
I don't know. But, yeah, I seen that. And I was like, oh, what a scam.
It is.
Such a scam.
It's a scam. If you actually follow things from the past and the future, you look at things and it's like, wow, it makes sense to you, right? Why things are done, why they say what they say.
Well, it's like double dipping because they get paid more to do the cesarean and then they get paid more for an uncontaminated placenta.
Exactly. Bingo.
And there's also been, because of lack of natural births, there's claims that that's what's leading on the it's contributing to how many people have asthma and lung issues, because when you go through the birth canal, that like squeezes out fluids and things and starts your lungs.
There's something to it, for sure. It's natural processes are better usually.
But yeah, I don't know, I just seen that little tidbit the other day. I was like, that makes sense.
It does.
I felt like I ranted a little bit there.
Well, it's not really that. It's just when you're like on a topic and you just have so much you want to say and you're just trying to get out the important stuff to come across as this is what I'm trying to explain and what I want to say about this. And that's kind of really, you weren't ranting. You were just trying to make sure that you came across as this is what I want to talk about now. And this is the problem here.
Well, I feel physically like I ranted.
Oh gosh. Aw.
I was on a soapbox there for a minute.
Well,
All these ideas percolating in my head. But
yeah, I feel you. I totally agree with you on that. All the injustices that happen every day. I come across many during my everyday.
I know. Things that make you go,
Exactly.
How was the rodeo? Tell me about it. I never actually really asked you.
Oh,
how
the
it
rodeo was great. Like, we had sunshine most of the rodeo. And then there's a few dark clouds. And I was like, oh, we're going to have like a storm soon. And I'm kind of waiting. We're waiting. It just came down fast. Lightning, torrential rain, sideways wind. We were soaked. And then we're going to go watch the rodeo outside. And then there's this like really nice Stetson suite there at the rodeo. And it's got all the heaters and it's all fancy and a white tent. I'm like, yeah, we'll just go there. So we go in there and the lady's like, so do you have any contestants you're here to watch the rodeo? And we're like, oh yeah, we're here to watch Pam. She's a barrel racer. She's like, okay, go on in. So we were like drinking our like drinks. And it was like so lavish because we're buying these heaters drying off because we were soaked. And I was covered in mud. Because like it was swampy walking back after, right? Because it had so much rain so fast. So I'm drying my hair and everybody's like, your hair is going to catch on fire. I'm like, my hair's not going to catch on fire. Like, because it was like all sealed propane, right? Like it was a big tube that was sealed. And I'm like drying my hair because it was so bad. It was fun though. It was a really good rodeo. Like really enjoyed it.
The ride, like, did they do bull riding and broncos and stuff?
Bull riding, barrel racing, and they don't do calf roping there. It's too controversial nowadays, and many different organizations have shut it down. So they can do that, but they just can't do it on display for the public. So if they want to do I think they can do it there when it's not like publicized. I think I have to look into that. But,
yeah, like the day before or.
Yeah, but it's not a super long rodeo. They don't make it that long. It's pretty short.
Okay.
So
because by the time I left work there, it was like, I think I worked till 2.
There was 2 rodeos.
But the rodeo, 2.
There's 2 different times, yeah, for all the contestants.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So they'll have the mutton busting, the bronc riding, and the barrel racing, and then the grand entry starting it. And that's pretty much it. It was packed, though. we had good front row seats where we were. Nice. So it was nice.
Is that because you had the VIP?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Christine.
So yeah, it was good, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna ask you. I'm like, I should have went to the rodeo with you.
It was fun. It was a long day. It was fun.
It would have been a long day, but it might have been inspiration for songwriting. You know?
Maybe.
Because I feel like, actually, I did have a bit of a brainwave yesterday.
So I might have wrote a song about the rodeo. It's already done. I just haven't told you yet. I just wrote it like 2 days ago.
Oh.
It's about lightning.
Is it better than the one we have?
No, they're all different. It's about lightning, which is super premonition. Because remember I was telling you I wanted to have like a jacket with lightning bolts on it, remember?
Yeah.
I feel like all of a sudden that must have been like an early premonition of this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then when we were recording our song in the studio, remember we did that little rendition after of Tom Petty Free Falling?
Oh.
Guess what came on the radio after when we left the rodeo? That song came on. It was just kind of like a weird...
that's funny.
Kind of like a premonition of the next song. And then the lightning and the thunder we had there. Oh, kind of eerie, but fun.
Reading the signs.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds fun, yeah. Yeah, I should have gone.
There's lots more rodeos. You're going to come the next one.
When's the next one?
Whenever we find the next one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Well, should we talk about music?
Let's talk about some music. Well, Janis Joplin, she had such a raspy voice. Like, it's so distinct. Like, she was so big. And she's amazing. She would suck on lemons way, like, an hour or so before she played and sang. That was her way to keep her voice raspy.
Like burnt her esophagus.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what worked for her voice. Like, that's how she kept her voice up. Interesting.
I'll have to listen to her a little bit afterwards.
Yeah. And then I do believe that Lana Del Rey has smoked cigarettes before she goes on stage to keep that voice like that. She's low, but she's not husky, but she's got that kind of like distinct voice. And it said that she smoked cigarettes before going on to keep that voice up. Like, I've seen her performances and she's got a smoke in hand, so it could be.
Well, there has to be a reason that she would do it, because with all the flack people get nowadays for just living their life
and doing what they want. Yeah, everybody's criticized for everything you do. You do something for this, you're criticized. You do something else, you're criticized.
Yeah. There's no bad press, though. So I seen this thing, and it was about life being a numbers game. And basically it was for 100 messages you send out, expect one back.
Yes.
For 100, fill in the blanks.
And sometimes all you need is one.
Yeah.
I agree. Jennifer Noon sent you a friend request. How's your coffee?
Settling.
What did you put in there?
Just coffee and cream and honey. Nothing special. Oh, I did put some collagen in my coffee.
I've got butter and collagen in here.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But the butter's gone back to its normal state now because I put ice in here.
Because it's now iced coffee.
So it's now chunked butter iced coffee. It's actually kind of... Okay, I got a chunk of butter. Oh my gosh. That's kind of funny.
You're going to have to chew your coffee.
I'm kind of chewing my coffee now. Tastes good though.
So we wanted to chat a little bit about somebody who was on the music scene and then kind of left the music scene by the sounds of it.
Well, he became really popular, I believe, in 2023. Or is it 2024?
Basically the height of COVID, probably.
So we're speaking of Oliver Anthony. He went viral for his song Rich Man Out of Richmond. He is just so unique and original. And he's got that raspy voice that's so distinct. That's why I think just is like, wow.
So now would you classify his music as outlaw country?
Yeah, he's swearing in it.
Well, he's also talking about the government.
Yeah.
Taxing us to death. And
yeah. And touches on controversial subjects. With lyrics in there. He literally just gets out there in his backfield and did his recording with his dog and posted it, and it just literally went viral. He became a singing sensation in less than 24 hours. Oh my gosh.
After he released that song? Oh, wow.
It took me longer to see it, though. I didn't see it right away.
Yeah.
I saw it maybe like a few weeks or so after. I didn't see it right away. On August 8th, 2023, the video of Out performing that was uploaded to YouTube.
So it was pretty quick.
That's what I'm saying, a year.
Yeah.
A year. Like,
Yeah.
that's why it's like...
Did he start singing and start playing?
Started posting. Began writing music only in 2021. Holy shit. Started posting in 2022, so a year after. Wow.
So I'd say we're tracking.
That's actually pretty good, though. He just started in 2021.
Yeah.
He began writing music in 2021 after recovering from alcoholism and began to release music in 2022. Wow, I love that.
It was kind of like an outlet for him. You just gotta have the right people listen. All it takes is a few people to get you to go viral.
I know that. I know. That's how you have to be careful what you do and how you do it. The song was publicized by singer and songwriter John Rich. I think John Rich is from Big and Rich. And then Joe Rogan talked about him. Boom.
Oh, yeah. He would be up Joe Rogan's alley for sure.
So they talked about him, and that's what got So within days, the song went to #1 on the US iTunes All Genres chart, on Spotify and Apple Music charts. First artist to debut atop the charts without any prior chart history in any form. That's why it's a big deal, like, to me, I think, is that he didn't have any history, just as one song and boom. That's how you'd want it to go when you're independent and just doing it. Oliver Anthony. He is a definitely overnight sensation.
Do you know what's been happening to him since?
He's still doing music. It's just not as, like, out there popular.
Sensational.
I think he's still doing concerts, $25 for a ticket. Basically around the area where he lives.
That still adds up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He's obviously living very modestly, so.
Mm-hmm. He likes it that way. On his 90-acre property, his little farm that he bought, I think, a few years ago. Still lives in his trailer.
That is not an easy life, living in a camper off-grid.
With kids and his wife.
That is not easy. Been there, done that. Did not buy the t-shirt.
Aww. But I think it's just a simple life. He doesn't like anything extravagant. It's just, he wants to be happy and comfortable, and he has his own views and thoughts on how he wants to be, and he's going to probably stick with them.
Yeah.
Sure, he might buy a new truck down the road, maybe. You never know. Or fix up his old truck.
Or self a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Or some good fencing.
Yeah, it is expensive on a big property.
But that's like the dream. I would love that.
It is.
Be plunk right in the middle of a 90-acre property.
Like, to him, it's his dream. To other people, they'd be like, why would you do that? You know? So everybody has their own thoughts on what they want and how to make themselves happy or get where they want to get going.
Yeah. If you could buy anything, anywhere, do anything you want to do, like moving-wise or
I'd want a
living-wise.
creek and a lake on my property. So I can go fishing, swimming.
A creek would be nice.
Going out on the boat. Yeah, I definitely want water features.
Yeah. Or like a lazy river.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you could go at like the top of your property and like tube down into the
Yeah,
lake.
Exactly.
That would be fun.
I just want something nice and quiet. I don't want to be around a lot of people.
And I mean, a lake would be nice. A lake with a river would be nice.
I've seen some pretty nice man-made ones on people's property too.
Oh yeah, those natural swimming pools.
Love them.
That's what I would like to do.
You have
one
like the
day.
sand on the bottom, and oh, it's nice.
Your little bog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought it would be cool to have like a natural pool and then have it be like an infinity pool. You know how it goes over the edge?
Oh, it's neat.
Into like a fish pond. And then it would filter back through the bog. So it would be clean again, and then you can swim in the top. And
that sounds really nice.
Sounds expensive.
I'd rather have that than an aquarium pool any day.
Yeah. And I don't know for sure. I do feel like once you have the ecosystem balanced, I think it would be less work.
I think it is.
Than maintaining a chlorine pool.
Because it's just natural.
Yeah.
It's aerated too, right? So it's constantly circulating and refreshing itself.
Yeah, and with like a chlorine pool, you're constantly putting shock in or skimming the surface or changing the filter or scrubbing it. Like
that's why I don't want a pool. Like
so high maintenance. Maybe an indoor pool would be better.
Still kind of the same. Bugs, dirt.
Yeah.
And going back to Oliver Anthony, his music, if you listen to the lyrics very closely, it's definitely implying many different types of problematic topics nowadays or actual events that have happened with the government and other problems. Taxes.
I mean, music is art, and art is subjective.
It is.
And it is in the eye of the beholder, or the ear of the beholder, I guess.
It is, because sometimes somebody can hear a song and be like, oh, that person's terrible. And someone else is like, no, I love it.
Yeah.
So
I'm thankful we all have different tastes.
It's true, though, because some of our friends don't like new country. They only like old country. And it's like, I like new and old country.
A lot of people are jonesing for old country to come back.
I don't know if it's a certain generation, maybe. I don't know, but I like both. Like, I love anything country. I love rock. I like anything, any genre, literally, like, I do like. But obviously my main love is like rock and roll and country. I do like some pop too.
I feel like my ear tends to really like, I wouldn't say it likes all like goth country, and I wouldn't say it likes all outlaw country.
I like outlaw country.
But I tend to like the sounds that come from there more. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd classify that as old country.
Well, like the harmonica. It's not always played in country songs, and I love the harmonica.
Yeah.
I like the banjo.
I know, and the fiddles. Yeah.
Yes, so it's a certain sound.
Yeah.
It's how it all comes together as one. It just makes it just right. I think lyrics are really important, though. People don't realize, but a lot of things have different meanings. I've listened to them. I'm like, oh, I get that. Like, there's hidden meanings in the lyrics. There's not just, it's referring to something else. It's implying something deeper. Okay.
Well, I'd say we can probably wrap it up for today.
Do you want to do some music now?
Yeah, let's do some music. I have something I want to run by you.
Got some thoughts?
I got some thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Alrighty, fam. Till next time.
See you later.
Ciao for now.